Khalsa Community School in Brampton, Ontario is a heartwarming piping and drumming success story, though all too unlikely in our competitive art form. In 2015, Malaysia's Sri Dashmesh competed in Grade 4B at the World Pipe Band Championships. They qualified for the final with the help of a first in drumming and finished 16th overall. The band was enthusiastically welcomed by all, as they were in 2019 when they returned to the Worlds to win the same grade with two firsts in piping, a first in drumming, and a fourth in ensemble. They received a hero's welcome upon their return to Malaysia. But piping and drumming-rich countries haven't always embraced expanding immigrant populations. By and large, we don't proactively reach out to ethnic communities to break down stereotypes and welcome everyone. It's up to all of us to correct the stereotype that piping and drumming is only for those with a Scottish identity. Brampton is part of the Greater Toronto Area, and Khalsa Community School is a private school registered with the Ontario Ministry of Education. It offers the standard Ontario education curriculum, complemented with a focus on faith and Sikhism. Since its inception in 1995, Khalsa Community School has grown to about 800 students, ranging from junior kindergarten to grade 12 high school. The school has a sophisticated music program led by Martin Singh, a highly charismatic teacher who somehow became connected with piping and drumming. Originally from Nova Scotia and raised Christian, he converted to the Sikh religion when he married a Sikh woman. Singh started Khalsa Community School's piping and drumming program just before the COVID crisis hit, but managed to get the project off to a good start with local piper and drummer brothers Dave and Craig Stewart providing instruction. The highly accomplished Stewart brothers got the Khalsa piping and drumming program off the ground. After the pandemic eased, the program moved to the guidance of Ellen Mole, a former member of the Grade 1 Guelph Pipe Band, who currently contributes as a judge, leader, and organizer on the Ontario circuit. The Khalsa Community School program now boasts more than 30 eager pupils who have caught the piping and drumming bug big time. Pipes Drums spoke with Martin Singh and Ellen Mole over video conference. All right, it's Pipes Drums. It's March 2023, and we're really happy to be doing something a little bit different today. We're checking in with a program that's going on in the Toronto area and in Brampton, Ontario, with the Sikh community. And a program with young pipers and drummers learning, Sikh pipers and drummers coming, learning all about piping and drumming through their school, the Khalsa Community School, through their teacher, Martin Singh, who's joining us today. Welcome, Martin. And also Ellen Mole, who comes from her long history in piping and drumming with the Guelph Pipe Band and the Pipers and Pipers Society of Ontario, and a judge for that organization and a longtime teacher of piping and drumming. So thanks a lot to both of you for taking the time today.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
And Martin, why don't we talk a little bit about the Khalsa Community School and the piping and drumming program and how it all started, how it works.
When I moved here from Nova Scotia, I was involved, and I'm still involved in the cadet movement, and we started not a pipes and drums band, but a military band with the 557 Lawrence Scots. And when I posted kind of some of the small successes that we had with the kids from there, I had people from my faith community reach out to me and say, hey, we had no idea you had these skills. And I said, I'm not sure that I have fantastic skills, but I have some skills. And they said, well, can you please put something together? And I said, well, if you want to do this correctly, it's not cheap. And we have to make sure that we get good teachers. And so we were very fortunate to have a number of initial funders come together for, it was about $20,000 that they put in at the very beginning. And then on an ongoing basis, the Khalsa Community School is absolutely fantastic. They provide us with a rent-free location to practice. I mean, we're there every Tuesday night, but if we needed more time and space, they would give it to us. And in addition to that, they also pay tuition for each student of their school who wants to be in the band. And to that point, we try to make sure that the program is accessible. Like, we have a very strong social justice conscience among our group and among our funders. And so the cost to study with us is basically $50 a month. And it runs from September until June. So we can say $500 for the whole year. And that covers your books. It covers your instruments, be it a chanter or pipes or a drum pad or drums or the sticks, because kids lose those as well, and they break their reeds up and everything else. So we cover all that. And yeah, and then also for all the teaching. But if there are people in Brampton who are interested in having their children learn pipes and drums, you don't have to be of the Sikh faith to participate in this. Like, we take all comers, and that same discounted funding rate that exists of the $50 a month all in, our funders are committed to providing that for absolutely whoever wants to come, no matter what their background. And so it's really a program designed to help children be a part of something really special in the pipes and drums. And we're blessed, really, since our beginning and currently, to have fantastic teachers on board like Ellen.
Yeah, that sounds great. And Ellen, you started teaching with the Khalsa school and the kids about a year ago. It comes at a time when I think, at least in Ontario and a lot of other places, we're kind of thinking that we need to reach out to other communities, not just waiting for first, second, third generation Scots heritage folks to come gravitate towards us and their ethnic music. And on that note, how have you found the kids in this program? Are they really attracted to the music? Do they think of it as Scottish music, or is it just kind of music?
It's a little hard to tell. I ask some of them, why are they doing this? And a lot of them aren't able to give me a good answer. So, just to back up a minute. So I have taught for over 20 years. I've taught beginners at St. Andrew's College in Aurora. And we get kids of all different ethnic backgrounds there too. And I always ask kids there when they start, like, why do you want to learn the pipes? And, you get a range of answers, most of which are like, oh, it seemed cool. My friend was doing it, that kind of thing. But some of them are like, I really love the sound, or my grandfather was Scottish, or, something like that. What they do have the advantage of at St. Andrews is, even for the kids who have really no exposure to piping in their background, they're getting it at St. Andrew's College. What the kids in the Sikh band don't have is exposure to piping really anywhere on an ongoing basis other than our lessons. One of the challenges I've found with them is because they don't recognize things that, most kids at St. Andrews would recognize. Amazing Grace, would recognize Scott and the Brave. These kids don't recognize it at all, by and large. There are a few of them do, but most of them do not. So there's kind of no common cultural musical background yet. Now, I am hoping at some point to maybe arrange some Indian music for bagpipes, but I haven't had time to do that yet. I want to get them grounded in the basics first before we start branching out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, we kind of, maybe in the piping and drumming, the traditional community, we've kind of grown up with the sound of those tunes and the sound of the pipes. So Martin, is that a hurdle to get over? The intonation, the tonality of the instrument, the music itself, to get the kids get their heads wrapped around the music?
To Ellen's point, while, say, for example, the parents, certainly don't have any background with piping music and that sort of thing, one of the things that I feel is happening, which is fortunate, is that the younger brothers and sisters of some of the ones that joined earlier are plugging in faster, meaning that we are seeing, and I don't want to give folks the thought that, it's some amazing, euphoric, epiphany that's happened here. But I would say, Ellen, please correct me if I'm wrong, that, the younger ones, particularly of the older original group that joined 5 or 6 years ago, they are picking it up faster. They are taking it more seriously, and the goals are there. And so from, and like essentially something that's starting from zero, I am pleased with, how the evolution of the band is really coming along. The kids are starting to see some benefit, and I think it's maybe coming a bit more for the drummers than it is for the pipers, because the drummers are able to shift over to the military band within the cadet movement very easily. And so we had a number of them, like the 557 Lawrence Scots, along with two other cadet bands, played at Queen's Park this past October. And a number of we call it the Canadian Sikh marching band that we have at the Khalsa Community School, a number of the children that are in that band as piping drummers. So a number of them got to play at Queen's Park, and then a number of them again got to play for the mayor of Brampton. And so they're seeing that, there's something that exists beyond the four walls of, the classroom, or the classrooms in which they participate, and their own homes. Like there's an opportunity here. And to that end, I think that the opportunity that Ellen managed to arrange for us at St. Andrews was, very, very good as well.
A couple of the kids that I talked to seemed really, really enthusiastic and like really excited by what they had seen, and especially amongst the younger kids again. So, I mean, I do feel like that level of the like 8 to 12-year-olds right now is where our future lies, and those are the ones that we want to get charged up and get them, working hard and practicing a lot.
Yeah, it's so interesting, Martin, what you've talked about, and then Ellen, the St. Andrews College performance at concert. I mean, these are not kids who are geared towards competition. No. It's strictly about performance and playing as well as you can and putting on a show, and not having to necessarily showcase your competition medley. It's more about the entertainment aspect of it, which is kind of, it's interesting that the Sikh kids would see that as performance first, rather than competition first. So and maybe a little bit about the kids and what they thought of the concert. Did they come away like really enthused and energized by it, and just grabbing their practice piano and drum pads to get better?
And I think that over the summer, whether our kids, because you mentioned competition, whether some of our kids compete or not, I think that there would be good value in attending some of the Highland Games piece as well.
The competition aspect of it, I just see that as a way for them to challenge themselves and, build their skills while trying to perfect a piece for competition. I don't care really whether they get, prizes or not. It's the learning from the experience that I hope that they will be able to experience. One thing that I have spoken to a couple people about is one barrier to getting non-Scottish people involved in something like competition is they don't have Highland dress. And, right now our rules require you to have Highland dress other than in the practice piano and practice pad competitions. So I am hoping that that rule will be altered for whoever I can persuade to try competition. Because, it doesn't matter whether you're Sikh or whether you're, Ukrainian, or whether you're, I don't know, African, Arabian.
Yeah, something other than Scottish, perhaps.
Anything other than Scottish. You do not have a kilt in your closet, right? So And it's not like they're cheap to rent, and it's not like they're easy to access if you don't already have one in the family. So I am hoping that they will accept cadet military uniforms as an acceptable alternative. But then again, not everybody that might want to compete or get involved in this way in this Scottish environment will be part of cadets either. And so I think that we need to look at some other kinds of dress requirements that would be accessible for anyone who wanted to try and gain the benefits of the education they'll get from competing.
Yeah, it's a really good point. But if you think about it, Breton Bagad bands are allowed to compete at the Worlds and wearing their Breton uniforms, and we see examples of that. So I often wonder why can't we Canadian bands wear flip-flops and blue jeans, a Canadian tuxedo or whatever. So that aside, really good points. So what about maybe just conclude with, how to keep the kids involved, after they go on to university or college or, the working life. Is there a strong effort to maintain their interest in piping and drumming post Khalsa Community?
So I've always talked about, an alumni band, so to speak, and I feel that the program conceptually was until, you finish high school or that type of thing, but there's nothing stopping you from coming back, or not leaving at all in the first place, for that matter. And so it is kind of like a big family, and it is my expectation, particularly for those members of our band who stay local once they go to university, that they will continue to participate with any kind of a music program, pipes or otherwise. There will be a good number of them for whom high school will kind of be the end, simply because it doesn't fit with their lifestyle, or they're not going to pay even though their parents did pay, or whatever the case may be, or just time, or there's just not really an opportunity for them to play, because there are far fewer opportunities to play for people who are like 19, 20, 21, 22 and that sort of thing. Our band continues on. There's no real age limit. We welcome them to stay, and so I am confident that there will be a number of them who will continue to participate. The kids are smart and they're engaged, and those ones who want to keep up with it will do so, and they'll find their own paths and write their own story, as it were. Like, I literally get calls every single year, not so much in the month of March, but April, May, like around this time, because that's when there are Sikh parades that go on here in the GTA and that type of thing. And we also get phone calls from the good folks in Montreal wanting us to come up there for the Victoria Day weekend in May. And they say, as soon as your kids are ready, please have them come. And I always thank them very graciously for inviting us every single year, but we're not quite there yet. So what it is that, like, when you get, even though they don't know a whole lot about the music, when you have that broader community interest and broader community support, coming to you and saying, hey, we want you to come and play, then that's something really special, and again, like, it's the fact that pipes and drums don't really have, a role, from a traditional perspective in the history of the Sikh faith and that type of thing, that doesn't bother the Sikh community at all. Like, they're very, very flexible in that regard. And so they're delighted to have an opportunity when the time comes to have the children come out and play. And I think that's reflecting the fact that we're able to get the funders to continue to participate with us, because the instruments aren't cheap. I see good things coming, I do, and we're very fortunate to have folks like Ellen and others participate with us in that regard to what hopefully will be a strong success story, in the years to come.
Well, it is a terrific story right now where things are with piping and drumming in the Ontario region and Canada and many other places in the world. We'll be watching real closely to see the progress of the school and the kids and everything that happens. And great credit to you both for doing this. I think it's an inspiration to many. It should be an inspiration to many others out there. And wish you nothing but success for everything in the future.
Yeah, Andrew, if I can, I would like to. I mean, I'm not going to name all of our funders because that would probably drive you crazy. But I would like to put a special shout out to Rip Sodak Paji. He is the principal of the Khalsa Community School. The man has great vision, puts great support behind us, and like all the folks there are very, very supportive, and we're very thankful for all of what they do.
Yeah, so often you need someone at sort of the top, and it kind of trickles down. And that support is so important. So, okay, once again, thank you so much, and best of luck in the future. We'll be checking in, and nothing but the best for the program.
Thank you,
Thanks
Ed.
again for having me.